Recognition, power, and influence is your birthright, and this podcast shows you how to get there. Welcome to episode number 240. You might be somebody who has been experiencing career challenges for quite some time, and it feels like this journey is going to go on and on and on forever. And maybe you have some quick wins and you get to the other side, like you get a better boss or you get a better title or you switch companies and you feel like, oh, I finally arrived, only to find yourself back in that same place again. Listen, I know this happens, but I have discovered the power of one word. If you can start to change this one word in your sentences with executive leadership, you're going to notice an immediate switch in how you're perceived by executive leadership. This doesn't need to be a marathon or double marathon or a triathlon. You can begin to make a bigger impact at your organization instantaneously. All right, let's get started. Welcome to Women Changing Leadership. I am your host, Stacy Mayer, and I teach you how to get promoted, get paid, and bring your whole self to the leadership table. I am on a mission to change organizations from the C-suite out, because women are the new face of leadership, and we are doing it on our terms. Hello, corporate badasses. Welcome to another episode of Women Changing Leadership. I am your host, Stacy Mayer, and super excited, as always, to be here with you again this week. We are in the middle of the Olympics of summer 2024, and I can't help but notice the word magic being thrown around and also who is actually saying the word magic. So first of all, I hope that you had the opportunity to watch the opening ceremony in Paris, and it was absolutely magnifique. It was incredible, and I love the interactive component to it, the experiential component. It was just so visceral. But what was so magical about it to me was the rain. Did you see that rain coming down? And did you see how people were just in it? Everybody was just experiencing the rain and doing their thing. I kept thinking, wow, this is so incredible and so magical. And the commentators for the opening ceremony, I was listening to them, and Kelly Clarkson kept using the word magical. She said it like 5 or 6 times. I'm sure if we did like a word AI search, I could actually figure out exactly how many times she used the word magic. I couldn't help but notice that the male commentators never once used the word magic. In fact, they went the other direction and would say things like, despite the rain. They kept saying, wow, this is really incredible despite the rain. Kelly Clarkson said, this is a magical experience. Look at that rain. Isn't this incredible? Now, this is a simplified experiment, but I really want you to listen to the difference between how women lead and how men lead. And it is really important because we talk about this idea that representation matters, and seeing people who are like us at the executive suite gives us permission to go for that as well. And every woman who gets themselves promoted is a role model. And when we can celebrate those role models, then we give other women permission to step up to put themselves into these higher level positions. This is part of the conversation of breaking the glass ceiling, women's leadership. But it's also important for us to realize that women are magical. Men are magical too, of course, but we see it. We see other women's magic. We see men's magic. We pull out magic. We create magic. We are magical. You are a magical person. I recently interviewed Lynn, my magic coach, and she talked about this. If you're listening to this podcast episode, if you listen to more than half of that interview, you have magic. Everybody who listens to me has magic. I know that you do. And I just want you to start hearing it. And then it kept coming up for me, like Simone Biles in one of her commercials. She says, this is magic. And I think that what people think when they hear the word magic is that it just happened. But there is no person on this earth who would say that Simone Biles' excellence, her performance excellence, whatever that might be, is just magical. It just happened. She was just born that way. No, of course not. She created that magic. She put the pieces into place to be magical. You see the difference? This is the summer of magic. This is the work that we're doing inside of the Leadership Table Mastermind with my clients. This is the work that I do inside Promotions Made Easy. Yes, it's a step-by-step guide to the executive suite. Yes, anybody can buy this book for $20. As soon as you buy it, it's the magic. It's the magical ingredients to get yourself into a higher level leadership position. All you have to do is do it. You just start putting in those ingredients and poof, you're there. Trust in the magic. The magic is available to you at all times. And start hearing it. Who are the people who are using the word magic? Yep, it's women. I'm okay with that. Because the more that we actually use that word, the more that we call on these magical ingredients, and then we use them to our own advantage to get ourselves into positions of power and influence, the more magic we have in this world, the more that we create. That's my opening number, everyone. I welcome you to this week's episode where I'm talking about the power of a single word. In last week's episode, I talked about how change can happen in an instant. One coaching conversation, one realization, one right time, right place that you put yourself into. And this week, I'm talking about the simplicity of one single word. One word that you can begin to add to your conversations and have astronomical results, magical results. Start to get noticed. Everything that you've been trying to do, overcoming imposter syndrome, get better at executive presence, executive communication, building relationships, whatever that might be, that you've been trying to tick off on your performance development plan, anything on that list can come down to changing a single word in your conversations. What is that word? It's not a specific word. It's the power of changing a word. So I'm not just going to give you the word. You figure out what your word is. But in today's episode, I'm showing you that you can literally just change one word and everything changes for you. Example, I have a coaching client. She's in my introductory awesome package where we take everything that's inside my book and we put it into action. I work with her one-on-one every single week. We're deep diving into our communication, and there is a moment, a particular strategy, a particular ingredient that I gave her recently. And here's the results. So she was talking about this word bureaucracy. And she said that she was having a conversation with a peer, and the peer kept talking about the word bureaucracy. And he kept saying that, this is a problem and, we have so much bureaucracy. And she was like, I disagree. I don't think that this is bureaucracy, but he keeps harping on that. And I'm trying to show him that this is not bureaucracy. And she's having this conversation to try and convince him that the particular initiative that they're working on is not bureaucracy. So as she's explaining this to me, I'm like, hey, let's hold on a little bit. Why are you using this word bureaucracy, and why is he bringing it up so often? So one word, bureaucracy. It has a definition, but it's a single word. And she said, well, it's because that's what our CEO keeps pushing down. So we have to be on the lookout for bureaucracy. Our CEO keeps saying that over and over again. And so then it's filtering down. And now she's noticing that all the leadership team keeps talking about this buzzword bureaucracy. And she is in conflict with that because she thinks some of the work that she's doing is not bureaucracy. Well, what the coaching that I gave her is the ability to start to use that word, bureaucracy, so a single word, herself. So I told her, what if you start using the word bureaucracy more often? She's like, it's so annoying. It's being thrown around all the time. I'm like, yeah, because that's how it works. The CEO throws around a certain word, then the CEO's minions start using that said word in conversation. What? To gain credibility, to build trust, to say, hey, I hear you. This is incredibly valuable. And so the coaching that I gave her was use the word bureaucracy. So with this peer, instead of saying this is not bureaucracy, say, hey, I agree. Similar to what the CEO has been saying, I agree that one of our challenges as an organization is bureaucracy. We have too much of it. So first, she has to agree, she has to acknowledge the goal that the CEO has thrown down. And then she explains to her peer, but this is not bureaucracy. Do you see the difference? Instead of just coming at it and saying, I disagree, this is not bureaucracy, what she hasn't done is aligned herself with the CEO. How do you align yourself with the CEO? Use the word that they're saying. Okay, you're going to listen to this episode. You're going to be like, this is so simplistic and annoying. And I do hear my other executives throwing around words. Start doing it yourself. I am telling you, this is the magical ingredient that changes everything for you. Start using the words that people at the executive team use. Everybody's doing it. You should do it too. And you don't have to think that everything is bureaucracy. And so what ended up happening is she explained it this way. So first she had to acknowledge, I agree, we don't need any more bureaucracy at this organization. She had to agree and align herself with the CEO before she could disagree and disalign herself by saying, hey, this is not bureaucracy and here's why. When she did that, she's like, the ears perked up. They started listening to me. They agreed with me. It worked, Stacy. This is what I mean, the power of aligning with a single word. Just use that word. I originally found out about this concept when I was coaching in women's leadership. I worked for a women's leadership organization before I started my business in Silicon Valley, and we would teach women. And my boss at the time, she said that in one of her coaching conversations, the woman had a problem with being more strategic. She's like, I want to be more strategic. I want to be more strategic. And what she found was that this woman was strategic. Everything that she worked on, the way she viewed problems, she was incredibly strategic. She didn't actually need to be more strategic. She needed to use the word strategic in conversation. And so what she started to do was use the word strategic in conversation. And then you know what? Her executive team started noticing her as a more strategic person. This only works if you're already kind of good at your job. You're a corporate badass. I already acknowledge that. You know that you're great at what you do. Most of you don't have a strategy problem. You have a word problem. Most of you don't have an influencing problem. You're just not willing to align yourself through a word with the CEO. And if you start to do that, if you start to change these single words, just this simplistic idea, this simple approach, what you're going to find is that other people start to see you as that type of person. I talk about in my book leadership style, and I actually define 12 leadership styles. If you don't have my book, go to Amazon, Promotions Made Easy, or type in Stacy Mayer and you will find a copy of it. It's available on ebook, Audible, all the things. And I talk in one of the chapters about how to define your leadership style. So let's say that you're a people-first leader. If you start using the word people first, or as I'm solving this problem, I'm thinking about the people, you start throwing around a word, just a word, people, 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 you're going to hear reflected back to you. Somebody's going to say, hey, you know, Susan, she's a people-first leader. She's always thinking about the people first. You're going to start to get reflected back that you are a strategic leader, that you are aligned with the CEO's mission. Other people are going to start to see you as that person. You know what might even happen? They might start to say that you have excellent executive presence. This thing that you've been working so elusively to get, that you thought, oh man, I have to overcome all my imposter syndrome. I need to change my accent. You know, I have clients, so many clients, that English is not their first language. And at first they think, I have to get rid of my accent. I need to get better at communicating. What if you could just say a word more often? And then other people would see you as a better communicator. Not what if, do it. Do it this week as an experiment. This is a gift to you. This is a magical ingredient. You drop in the power of a single word. You're going to notice that other people see you as somebody who is more aligned with the CEO, as somebody who gets the strategy of the organization, as somebody who is a people-first leader. Everything that you've always been wanting and wishing would happen will start to happen because you change your words, single words in your sentence. This sounds so simple and it is so powerful, and my clients get huge results as a side effect. I want this for you. I want you to have a voice at the table. Your next promotion matters, not just because you're going to have a higher title and more pay and more influence, but because you have so much more work to do in this world. We're changing the leadership table, and the only way we can change the leadership table is to get you into a leadership position. So if you need to be promoted to a director, if you need to align yourself with strategy by using the word strategy more often, then let's do it, because your promotion matters. I need you. Your company needs you. We all, as a collective, need more women, more magical women in positions of influence and power. And I am telling you, this is the way to start doing that. All right, if you're listening to this episode, maybe you don't know what word to use. Just start listening this week and you're not sure what word you want to throw around. Just listen to the words that the executive team uses. Send me a direct message on LinkedIn or Instagram. Let me know, what is your word? I want to know, what is the word that everybody's saying that's on their lips? What is the word that you're going to start saying, and what's the results that you get? I want to celebrate you as part of the Summer of Magic, as one of the 432 promotions that we're celebrating in the summer of 2024, even while we're on vacation. You are amazing. You are ready for the next level of leadership, and I'm so grateful to help you get there. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Before you go, I have a question for you. Do you know how close you are to your next promotion? Really? Not what your boss has told you, not what you even believe to be true, but have you actually taken the time to sit down, take an assessment, review the 5 categories that it takes to get promoted into senior executive leadership positions, and decided where you fall in each category, and given yourself a ranking on a scale of 1 to 10 of how close you are to getting your next promotion? Have you done this? Well, now's your chance. If that feels interesting to you and you're like, hey, I want to know exactly how close I might actually be, or how far away you might be, and what it's going to take to get you even closer, then I invite you to take my promotability quiz. This is a quiz that I put together with practical tips that actually tell you where you're lacking and where you're winning. What are the areas that you actually need to improve, and not necessarily what your boss is telling you all the time, so that you can take concrete steps towards landing that next promotion and changing the face of the leadership table. Go to yourpromotabilityscore.com to take your free assessment today. Yourpromotabilityscore.com, and let me know how it goes.